We are back with Game 2 of this best of 3 series against DudeitsKudo. As you can see slightly from team preview, we both have slightly different combinations of the 4, because in best of 3 in VGC, the whole point is learning Game 1 and then adapting Game 2, Game 3. So I decided that I started off way too slow-paced in Game 1, and I needed to change things up and apply some offensive pressure right away. And it seemed like Kudo thought that he needed a new lead because the Dugtrio Gigalith lead didn't do enough for him. So the double Intimidate really doesn't have any effect on me. I have 2 special attackers out, but had I led with something more physical like Alolan Muk or Kartana, that really would have been problematic. Now, the Misty Terrain comes up. That's fine for me because that means if that Arcanine does have Will-O-Wisp, it cannot affect me in any way, and the Gyarados is in the air, which is going to protect, and he subs out for Celesteela, which is clearly a pain, but at least now I know that it has Giga Drain. Now, you saw there that Porygon-Z hit a Hyper Beam, but was protected. This Porygon is a nuke, and it is so fun to use. So I'm going to double out Feeny into Arcanine to get that Intimidate onto the Gyarados in case it decides it wants to DD. But more importantly, I want to scare out that Celesteela. And the nuke that is Hyper Beam is going to come off and completely just decimate that Gyarados before it can do anything, which is great because Waterium-Z Gyarados is very scary to go up against, especially if it gets a DD up or is even at just neutral attack. So he's going to go into Gigalith, which is fine. It's going to scare out, theoretically, the Arcanine as well as set up Stand, which can chip away at both Porygon-Z and Arcanine. At this point, I do not know move number 4 from that Gigalith, so I'm not sure if it has Earthquake or not. I figure Gastrodon's a good switch because he's not going to target that slot with Giga Drain, and I get incredibly lucky here that he doubles Celesteela himself into Arcanine. So initially this Gastrodon switch was just to see and scout if there's an Earthquake, but he goes for Rock Slide. It does about 60% or 40% to Porygon-Z, which is alright. Gastrodon just shrugs that off. And now I have my Gastrodon in here with 0 threat to it whatsoever. So I'm going to switch out because I'm Scarfed. I just want to make sure that if I need Porygon in the back for multiple turns, let's say Tri-Attack or Ice Beam, that I have access to that. I figure I can go into Arcanine here and get an Intimidate off on both of those. And if that way I can at least survive something in case Celesteela comes in, because I need Arcanine for Celesteela. He makes another double with Gigalith, expecting the Scald, I'm assuming, and goes into Celesteela. So now I have a matchup that I want in my favor. Scald does Scald things by burning all the time, especially because Celesteela is in the air due to its flying typing. The Misty Terrain doesn't come into effect here. Now, I don't know if he's aware of this, but I know that even through Protect, my Flare Blitz firing Z will still destroy Celesteela at this range of HP. So I'm not too worried even if he does have the Protect. I was surprised though to see the Helping Hand, because again, like that's not really common onto Arcanine. I am going to Protect with Gastrodon, however, just in case something does happen. I don't know if this is specially defensive or physically defensive, so I just want to double check, make sure that I'm not losing Gastrodon this turn, and he does not Protect, so I'm assuming he was going for that Helping Hand Giga Drain. But Inferno Overdrive is just going to decimate the Celesteela and open this game right up. So that handful of turns could not have worked out any better into my favor. Now with Sand Up, I do see that my Arcanine gets hit first. I am not sure, however, if that's a speed tie between our Arcanines or if mine actually is faster. So he's going to bring back in Gigalith, as that's his only remaining Pokemon. He's going to Helping Hand, and he's going to go for those Rock Slide flinches, at least at the moment. I'm going to Protect. Again, I'm scouting to see if he has Earthquake because I do not know what that 4th move is yet. And I need to make sure that I have everything I need for Game 3 because Game 4 is looking, or Game 2 is looking very heavily into my favor. Now he does get the flinch on that Gastrodon, but as you'll be able to see from the HP, again, it really did not matter, even with that Helping Hand boost. And I did go first or get hit first in sand. So I am starting to think that I am faster. I am just going to Flare Blitz. I just want raw damage onto that Gigalith, mainly because I'm trying to wear out the Sandstorm that buffs the special defense of rock types in the sand. And I get the Flare Blitz burn, which is fantastic because why not? Let's just add more insult to injury. Rock Slide is going to come out, but this time I'm not going to get a flinch on Gastrodon, and we'll be able to fire off a Scald as soon as I'm done eating that berry, getting that fruit in. So Scald's going to come out. It's going to do a good chunk to Arcanine. That Arcanine does look a little defensive, but I don't believe this Gastrodon has much, if any, special attack investment. But that's okay because this game is theoretically under control. I have nothing to worry about as it is still currently a 4-2. And he is just going to run because he knows there's nothing that he can do, especially with Porygon-Z and Tapu Fini in the back. So let's check back tomorrow for Game 3 and see who wins this best of 3 and who is able to adapt the best. Catch you guys then.